Hey everybody, this is Chris, your resident cyber doctor here. I wanted to make a video. I've actually been thinking about making this for a while now. It's what I'm kind of somewhat excited about because it's two of my favorite programs. I'm contrasting and comparing Avast free 8.0, the most recent version, versus Avira free 13.0, their latest version. These are, without a doubt, in my view, the two best free antivirus programs. Not only are they the two best free antivirus programs, in my opinion, they're two of the best, period. There are a lot of honks out there and that'll tell you that free programs don't compare to paid, but that's bull. That is total bull. These two programs prove it, and I'll get into that later, but I want to match these two up because they're the two best programs, antivirus programs out there. They're more than antivirus programs. I'll get into that as well. I've used both extensively. I use Avast now. For quite a while I was a devout Avira user, but I had some issues with it with Windows 7 like a year and a half or so ago, and I switched to Avast and I've been using it ever since. I like both programs, but I'm going to compare them in 10 different categories, and we'll see who comes out. Here we go. First category is virus detection rate. Now, the truth is both of these have very high detection rates. Now, a year and a half ago, if I were making this comparison, I would have given Avira a slight edge because it had and still has one of the best detection rates of any antivirus, free, paid, or whatever. But Avast recent versions, especially 8.0 and them, have really improved. They used to be not subpar like ABG, but not as good as Avira or Kaspersky or one of those other elite programs. But they've really improved. And now, for all intents and purposes, it's a push. It really is. You could say one's better in this area, one's better in this area, but that there's really no discernible difference in the recent versions in terms of virus detection. So in this category, I got to give it a tie. You know, they're both good, both in terms of basic virus detection. They're both solid. They both do more than adequate job in that area, and actually are two of the best in that area. So I'm going to call it a tie. I know others may disagree, but it's essentially a tie. So one category down. Next one is spyware and other malware detection. Now that's the thing. Modern antivirus programs are more than just antivirus. The fact that there's a reason why both Avast and Avira are recognized by Windows Action Center or Security Center as anti-spyware programs, because they could detect and remove a lot more than just viruses. I mean, viruses make up, let's face it, about, 15% of the malware that's out there. I mean, that's not that much. There's far more Trojans, spyware, adware, and fake programs like that. There's far more of that out there. So if a program just detects viruses, it's not worth much. So modern programs like Avast and Avira can do far more than just detect viruses. In this category, they're both good. They both have a large database, and they also have good detection of unrecognized programs, or PUPs, potentially unwanted programs. You could say that Avast has a little bit better heuristics detection than Avira, but Avira's detection rate on all levels is rock solid no matter what the category is. Even in rootkits, you could actually give Avira a slight edge in removing rootkits. So overall, I got to give it another tie. Again, both are solid. Both can do more than an adequate job. For free programs, I know free programs take a rap but it's an unwarranted one. These two programs are awesome programs, and they can detect a whole host of malicious software that's out there. Okay, so in this area, we'll call it a tie. Okay, now, virus and malware removal. I mean, after all, if you can detect it and not remove it, what good is it? So you have to be able to not only detect it, but to at least quarantine and remove it. Or sometimes you can clean it, though that's not always possible. Some infections can be cleaned, but a lot cannot. In this area, both are very good. It's really hard to tell the difference between these two because they both detect and remove a whole host of viruses and malicious software. I personally have never had an issue with either of these programs not being able to remove something it detects. I mean, I'm sure there are, but in all tests that I've seen, even other independent tests, they may leave some harmless remnants behind. But in terms of the big enchiladas, odds are if it finds it, it's going to quarantine it, clean it, or remove it. So with no discernible difference, it's 003. I got to give it a tie on this category. Everybody's experiences are different. I understand that, so I'm just going by mine. Not only my experiences, but in other tests that I've seen of these programs, of this version and past versions as well. So we got to give it a tie. Okay, moving right along to the next category. It's 003. Installation onto infected machine. That means your computer is already infected before you download this program. Some are better than others at that. Now in this case, Avast traditionally has not been good in this category. Now, I haven't seen any tests or results of any tests of their recent version, the 8.0. So that could have changed. They've really improved greatly the past couple versions. From Avast 5 to 6 to 7 to 8, I mean, it's really been a dramatic improvement to where they once were. They were good before, but they've really became an elite program the past year and a half or so. But in this case, Avira is an easy winner. I've seen tests where it has been installed on an infected computer and started quarantining things even before it updated. That's how good it is. So if you already have an infected computer, Avast may not be the area to go. Maybe you'd go with Avira or Malwarebytes or something like that. Malwarebytes paid or something like that. But the tests that I've seen on Avast in this scenario have not been good. Now, like I said, they've improved greatly. Maybe the results are different, but as of now, I got to give the edge to Avira. Next category. Prevention. Now this is an important part here. This is an important category. The whole idea, after all, of these programs is to stop your computer from getting affected to begin with. It's like a security guard on your front door. The idea is not to let the intruder in. Excuse me. Now, overall, in terms of basic virus and malware prevention, both are about the same. But here's where I give Avast a big edge. And that is in Web Shield. The only way you get web protection with Avira is if you install this toolbar, their safe search or whatever they call it toolbar. And I hate those things. I hate any extra toolbar that the companies want you to install. I will not install them. That's a deal killer for me with the latest versions of Avira, and it's why I love Avast so much, is that by default you have web protection with Avast. It comes with a little add-on to Firefox and Chrome called let's see, I think it's called WebRep, I do believe. And basically that will block you from going to any illegitimate sites. Yeah, it's called WebRep, and what that does is it coordinates with Avast that's already installed on your computer and lets you know when you're going on to a bad site. It blocks it, and you'll hear a message from Avast, threat has been detected, and it'll stop you from going onto a bad site before you can even get there. So that's one step ahead of Avira. With Avira, you got to install this stupid toolbar, which does nothing but slow down your browser. I can't stand that. Stay away from the toolbars. Google toolbar, Yahoo toolbar, Ask, Bing, all these other crap, stay away from them. They do nothing but slow you down, and they're unnecessary. That's a deal killer for me. That's one of the reasons why I will not use Avira over Avast. There are other reasons, but this puts Avast one step ahead of Avira, and this is a big step. If you can be prevented from going on to the malicious site, that's one step ahead of prevention. That it's like stopping you from going into a place where someone has the flu. Before you even get there. The flu shot is to protect you when you get there, but this acts like someone that says, "Hey, there's someone that's sick in there. Don't go in there." So it's one step ahead. So that's big to me. Now, if you don't mind toolbars, go for it. Have your browser slow to a crawl. I mean, anything you add on, especially a browser, will slow down, or especially a toolbar will slow down your browser. So I would highly recommend against it. So I give Avast an overwhelming edge here. It's pretty big. Even though Avira is good at prevention, the fact that you need this extra detail to have a web shield with Avira gives Avast a clear-cut winner here.